To think that you can own someone's body and mind and spirit is ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous to me.
I agree with you.
And it's okay that other people don't agree with us. But and I think the idea of strict monogamy is actually a newer idea.
Sure.
I think that we as humans have not been strictly monogamous for nearly as long as we think, or we pretend we've been.
This is a really good question. All these questions are good. When you think of us together, what are your biggest hesitations?
Biggest hesitations? I'm trying to word this without sounding harsh. I was gonna say try not to commit so soon, but I don't want to rush it for it to end so soon. Okay.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Okay, there you
go. So that would be your hesitation was to go slow?
Yeah, go slow, don't go fast.
Gotcha.
All right. What about you?
Maybe a hesitation would be, are you very, what's the dynamic in your relationships? Is it are you monogamous? Are you open or?
Oh, monogamous.
Okay.
Yeah. Are you open?
I've been in open relationships before.
Wow.
So I think maybe that could be a hesitation.
Okay.
For both. I guess.
Definitely. Yeah, it could be.
I'm not opposed to monogamous relationships, but I tend to like open.
Interesting. Okay. I mean, I feel like it's power in doing that or something. Yeah.
At what point did you realize you wanted to get a secondary partner? I feel this is not applicable to our situation.
When I started dating you, when I was still dating my ex.
When I was the secondary partner?
When you were the first time, though, to be fair, you were the first time that I found a girl that I wanted to date as much as I wanted to date.
Yeah.
And that is, I think, in a lot of ways, the fantasy. I don't know if it's, it hasn't seemed to materialize very well, but that is the fantasy for me, is the third, ideally the third that both of us share, but at least a third that I really care about and want and feel as much of a connection to as you. Mm-hmm. But yeah, the first time I ever really wanted a secondary, so to speak, a meaningful secondary, was when I started dating you at the same time I was dating. I guess before that we certainly had other partners. But.
Yeah.
What quality do you and I have that enables us to share you?
First off, I don't think you share me because
you don't think, or you do think?
I don't think you share
me.
No, definitely not. I think we've got to fully grown relationships, which both are still growing, and I think they're both 100%, which means I have to have 200%, and I think I can do that, and I think everyone could do it with enough talking. So if there would be one quality that you both have to do this, it would be communication skills and talking everything over. I think sometimes we tell each other that we don't talk about something enough, or I tell you to explain something to me, but I don't think we realize that we talk a lot and we tell each other a lot and we share a lot of our feelings about the other partner or about our own relationships, and that the days that we don't talk much or when we're not really in the mood for sharing, we still share more than 99% of people, I think. And I think that's something special that all three of us have, which makes this work.
All right, are you still
considering polyamory?
Because it's fun. No strings attached. Maybe eventually another partner who isn't a flake, which is impossible in this city. So
Yeah.
why close a door that hasn't been explored yet? What about you?
Well, if the idea is to share peace and happiness and, you know, openness and explore things sexually with other people invited into our thing, it's pretty much the point of a relationship, I think. I think you should always share happiness and peace. And most people approach relationships out of loneliness and desperation, and they end up sharing misery. And you know, having been through many relationships like that, I've gotten to a point where I realize that that is the true definition of insanity. So I'm open to experience.
I don't think my mom ever understood. I remember she called me a hoe once, actually. Or like very strongly alluded to me being a hoe. She was like, you have a lot of male friends, or like, what does Raheem think about all your male friends? Something like that. And I remember being like, we're not monogamous. And she was like, oh, I tried that like a long time ago. It didn't work. She was probably the only person in my family that I like gestured towards about it. And after that reaction, I was like, I'm not gonna be talking to my family about that anymore. Also, at that point, you had come to Thanksgiving already. Mm-hmm. So I was like, honestly, like, this is all very hectic. I don't want to get into all of that, right? And we also didn't know we hadn't explored polyamory or ethical non-monogamy because that's not where we were supposed to be heading. So being that open relationships mostly seem based out of sex, and sex is a topic I do not discuss with my family, did not really talk about it much. Mm-hmm. And with friends, I think all our friends knew about it. Nobody was about it, right? So everybody kind of had their own thoughts and judgments about it. And a lot of people already had ideas as to what they thought we were about. And so they're like, why would you even do this? Like, you and Raheem are like the staples of Black love at the school. Why are you doing this? Yeah, so I didn't really talk to people much. And especially after knowing too that people weren't too fond of it, I stopped talking about it as well. I just didn't have many people to talk to about it. Yeah.
Do you regret committing to me?
Not a single second. No. I'm going to expand on that. I think part of me mourns. As you know, we always talk about this idea of being monogamous while at the same time being polyamorous. So I'll be honest with you, part of me mourns, and it's self-choice because as a person that functions best in a monogamous relationship, I still mourn this idea of experiencing other people, of actuating love with other people. So that's just a little more. But however, my commitment to you, our commitment, never. It's such a gift. And it was so easy to say yes to this commitment. I mean, from the very first time. And I mean, there's not a day that I'm not grateful for our journey together. So.
Have you always been into non-monogamy?
No, I started in college, and I started casually dating people, and I ended up being with a few people, and I realized when I graduated that I hadn't gotten to know them as well as I wanted to. And so then after college, I kind of tended more to polyamory as opposed to just casual, like open dating.
Right.
So I still do multiple people, but I try to invest emotionally into those relationships, which is, it's gone well so far, but there is the chance of burning out, especially with the tendency to, give everything you kind of have in the moment.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to do it less nowadays, just because I'm at that part where I'm losing energy and I'm still trying to figure it out.
Yeah,
so I'm not super articulate about it, but
yeah,
that's just something to know.
Okay, cool. Yeah. I feel like it's hard to like emotionally invest in just like one person and have many people, because I've considered that.
I was gonna ask
as
if you've done
well, because yeah, I feel like I kind of felt a little suffocated like in my last relationship in that sense, but yeah.
No, that's okay. Listen, I mean, I can't recommend it or not recommend it.
Yeah.
It's really individual. And I've been having conversations with people who don't fully get it. And it's hard to explain that you can be kind of fully invested, even if it's not in terms of time. And if you don't balance it out well enough, then people can get hurt.
Right.
Yeah. But there's never the risk of cheating, and there's never the risk of, I mean, I guess there can be the risk of jealousy if people, aren't completely secure going into it. So it's always good to have that talk firsthand.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that we're talking about this. Yeah.
I feel like communication is like very, very, very important, especially if you're doing non-monogamy.
Yeah, exactly. Otherwise, you have to make sure everyone's cool with it, or else it's just cheating. So.